The bottom photograph shows of the theatre, how it now is in America, in Florida. It's been dismantled, it's been taken across and rebuilt inside a complex, a theatre complex in America, and I'm sure we'll highlight that at a greater date. But this decor dates from 1920 to 1921, when the Dunfermline Opera House was closed, and its owner, John Henry Eyre, obviously didn't spare any money at all in giving Dunfermline Opera House the best possible interior that a theatre could wish. And I think everybody will agree that it's absolutely beautiful. And it's great to know that the Dunfermline Opera House, although it closed in 1955, is still living and breathing, even though it is thousands of miles away in Florida, in America. Okay, in this particular cabinet we highlight some of the acts, other acts who appeared in the Dunfermline Opera House: Johnny Victory, Andrew Stewart, Chicken Muddy, Old Mother Riley, Jack Anthony, and various other ones. But another part of my collection which I look back in fondness is the other poster that I have of the Opera House, dating from May 1940, and it's Frank and Doris Troy with a review nae her'n done. Again, the Clarkson figure in this particular poster with Jimmy Reed and Billy Fields. Down the bottom we see the Opera House from 1927. We have the Variety Stars of Music Hall. Now this was the last swan song for many of the top variety and music hall artists, but they appeared in Dunfermline as part of a world tour in 1927. A few programmes there as well from that particular era. And the most important thing away at the very bottom, hopefully you can catch it, is a gas mantle that was handed in by a lovely lady on the first couple of days of the exhibition here at Abbott House. Now the nice thing about the exhibition of 100 Years of the Opera House was that it gave me a chance to highlight the career of a lady who has been absolutely tremendous over the years. As a performer, as a local entertainment historian, and one of the nicest people I have ever known, Frida Drysdale.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Frida, now you were and still are an entertainer.
Yes.
Very quickly, just give us a wee bit brief history of your career.
Well, that 1952 one, that was when everything sort of all started, because 1952 was when I did Carmen. And one of the pictures are in there, you'll see them all in there. And then, well, just one thing led to another. Archie McCullough spotted me in
the great Scottish entertainer?
Yes, and his wife Cathy Kay, they put me on television.
Very good.
And while I was on television on that particular show, Jimmy Logan was on that one. And from there it just snowballed, and I went full-time pro, just about 1960. I gave up the full-time pro in 1970. Yeah. And these are pictures of people that I've appeared with. You going to have something?
Now, it's a lovely programme that. Now that's my favourite photograph.
Is that your favourite photograph?
From 1952. Now that's Dunfermline Week.
Yes.
And you said that that's basically where it all started for you.
Yes, yes. Actually, I was doing Carmen in Carnegie Hall, and the Morris Allen came and asked if I would pose for that, and that was in the year that I did Carmen, 1952. Right. So out of all that happening, all the other things snowballed and happened for me.
Now, all the way down the line, the next photograph to the right of that is with your husband, mentor, manager.
That's him. Johnny Othing.
Your husband, Ken.
Yes, that's him.
Where did you meet Ken?
Oh, I was in love with Ken when I was 11, but we met up and when he came out of the Air Force again, and we got married in 1946, and he was the one that insisted that I went to get my voice trained, and he's a terrific musician, the most wonderful accompanist you could ever wish to have, and a great jazz pianist.
And all the way down the line, he's been with you?
All the way, aye, and backing me up all the time, you know.
Now, next to the Castanets, we see a programme from the Metropole Theatre in Glasgow, Jimmy Logan's theatre,
yeah.
The Gay 90s.
Yes, well, that was a wonderful show. That was the real old-fashioned songs, you know, Up in a Balloon Boys and all these sort of things. And a wonderful cast. There were
Larry Marshall in there, was it?
Larry Marshall, yes, and Bill Tennant, the Monks twins, Sally.
Sally Logan.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the programme front next to it is actually the original...
Of the original Opera House.
And doesn't Jimmy Logan look young there?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, actually what happened there, Brian, is I like to specialise what the old pros used to say, I like to see the whites of their eyes, you know, rather than I like to, in front of an audience, cabaret-wise, rather than being in the theatre.
Yes.
But I really enjoyed my theatre work too. It was really brilliant.
Well, I mean that's you top of the shop there.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean it's
that wonderful the Gay 90s show, Brian. The star was old Jimmy Reid. That was Jimmy who. His top number was Maggie. I wander today through the hills, Maggie, you know.
Still living on with Sidney Vine.
Absolutely. And we used to be standing, waiting for the curtains to open, and old Jimmy would say, "Come here, you haven't given me my kiss yet." And I'd run, give him his good luck kiss. And he used to say, "That was the night hen Norwegians," you know.
Under the Castanets is a great favourite of mine, Jack Dougarry, a gentleman who entertained generations.
Absolutely.
And worked right up to his death. And the lasting memory for Jack Dougarry for me is the comedian out front cloth with the ukulele, spinning jokes, playing a bit of tune. But tell us something about Jack Dougarry.
Oh, Jack Dougarry was brilliant. And Freight Train was his top number. We used to put on shows all over the place in Princess Street Gardens, all over the place. And we had a rehearsed show, you know, and we used to change to the cowboy scene and whatnot. And a good phrase for Jack that Jack said to me one time, a big compliment, says, "See you, Frida, it doesn't matter what we put on you, you've got the grace." And so we did. The Beach Pavilion and Leaving and all these midnight matinees and stuff we used to do.
And you take that as a compliment, of course.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Now, next you have when you appeared in the Opera House in Dunfermline in 1954 with the Rex Deering Crown Players.
Yes.
And now that must have been a big thrill for you.
Oh, it was a great thrill. Callum Mill was absolutely brilliant. He was actually in a television series at the time he came to us, so we were all quite thrilled to see him in person, you know.
Yes.
And actually, you've heard of the fact that Macbeth shouldn't have been. You don't mention anything about the Scottish play because it's bad luck.
Yeah.
Well, poor old Callum on his very last night when he was. Oh, it was a great sword fight they did, very realistic, but it was so realistic this time that he just got the tip of his thumb cut, and I don't know if it actually came off, but he was bleeding profusely, but he carried on, and we got a thunderous applause from the audience and from us too.
Nice photograph of the Opera House just above it.
Yes.
Now, throughout your entertainment career, you appeared with some of the greatest names and most popular names in Scottish variety. And we have a photograph of two gentlemen who are still entertaining throughout the world today, Tom and Jack, the Alexander brothers.
Oh yes, I love Jack, Tom and Jack. We did the Webster Hall in Arbroath and all the other kind of holiday places.